Hey guys, I'm Dayton with Ballistic Mischief, and today I'm going to be testing these cold steel throwing weapons. I am an avid knife thrower and hawk thrower, and I'm really excited for these. Got them at Smoky Mountain Knife Works in Tennessee. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into it. All right, so before I start throwing, I just wanted to show the different ones I got. So I've got the True Flight thrower right here. I've got the Sure Flight Sport thrower. Got the Mini Flight thrower and the Templar. I'm really excited for this. I haven't tried a Templar before. I've tried stars, knives, hawks, all the rest of the stuff. Haven't tried a Templar, so I'm excited to see how it throws, if it has a good feel to it, if it's something that I would potentially use for hunting or self-defense or just something like that. It looks pretty cool, and hopefully if it's got a nice balance, a nice feel to it, it'll perform as well as my expectations are hoping it will. All right guys, well I think the move today is we're just gonna start out slow and work our way up. First up, the Mini Flight Sport. All right, and here we go. You can see on here, it's just an average size throwing knife, not too big, not too small. Got a little hole right here if you want to put a lanyard or something like that. Comes to a pretty sharp tip, but not quite sharpened to an edge on the sides, but very sharp tip for sure. Other than that, it's got a nice weight to it, a nice feel to it, a really nice balance. I'm excited to throw it. All right guys, here's how it throws. All right guys, well overall I think this is a pretty decent throwing knife. I like mine to be a little bigger, a little heavier, but this definitely, if you're trying to carry this or if you're trying to carry a couple of these, definitely might be a better option. It's kind of on the lighter side, but once you throw it a few times and get a feel for the weight, you definitely can use this as an effective throwing knife. It's definitely a very slick knife, so it's very easy to slip out of your hands, but if you put any grip or anything like that on here, if you wind this up with cord or something like that, or if you just really throw it a lot and get used to it, not a bad knife at all. All right guys, next up we've got the True Flight thrower. So far I'm already a fan because this is a very nice sheath on there, and so far the other ones haven't come with a sheath. Really nice, feels very high quality, not like a chintzy cheap sheath, but I do like that. So unlike most throwing knives, this has a bevel on here. Definitely, it's one-sided. You've got that grip from the paracord. It feels really good. I'm just excited to see how it goes with having that bevel on there. But overall, it's a nice size knife, and I definitely think this is gonna throw well. I'm excited for it. All right guys, well that was the True Flight thrower for Cold Steel throwing knives, and overall I think it did fairly decent. The only thing I would say is it's kind of awkward having this bevel on here just because I can't grip anything right there, and because of the longer blade it makes it heavier, so I have to hold it a bit higher, which is a little bit awkward. If I could hold it right here, it would be good. I just have to adjust either my throw or where on the knife I'm gripping. That's the only downside I could see to that. Other than that, it's a very solid knife, feels really good in your hand. Great sheath, I love that. And yeah, altogether not a bad knife at all. But I would definitely say is not the most comfortable knife I've thrown. Maybe it just takes a little bit of getting used to, but I would say right off the bat, it's definitely not as comfortable as I'd like it to be. All right, let's move on to the next knife. Next up, we have the Sure Flight Sport throwing knife. This one is a lot like the Mini Flight Sport. I just think that it is about 2 to 3 inches longer than that. It also seems a bit heavier. Let's hope that the weight is distributed really well on this and it makes it a really great throwing knife. Yeah, let's just get into it. And there we go, guys, here it is. This seems to be about probably 12 inches, I would say. comes to an extremely sharp point, and I will say the edges on here come to where they could definitely cut. Not quite a shined up bevel or anything like that, but definitely come to pretty sharp points. Overall, I think this is going to be a pretty cool thrower. There's not very much weight in the handle. A lot of the weight is up front, so the grip's going to have to be a little different, but no, super slick looking knife, and let's just start throwing it. All right guys, right off the bat, I can tell this knife is going to be a little weird for a no spin technique, which is what I use. I'm gonna have to move my grip up a lot more for that. But if I'm using a spinning technique where I throw based on the handle, it is very nice. I'm not as confident with my spinning technique as I am my no spin, but I will say this knife definitely is suited much better for a spinning technique when it comes to throwing. All right guys, overall, I think this knife is probably the most comfortable knife yet of today to throw. It's just a little different because with all the rest of these, I've been doing mostly no spins and 1 or 2 spins just to get a feel for it. And they've all been much better with a no spin technique, but this one is not very comfortable at all when it comes to no spin, but is extremely comfortable and flies and just feels amazing whenever I'm doing a spinning technique. And actually I improved a lot with my spinning technique just by learning off this knife. So I would say this is probably my favorite knife of today so far, just because of its weight distribution and its feel. It feels so nice whenever you throw it with a spin. All right guys, moving on to our final throwing weapon, the Templar. Last but not least, we have the Templar. I'm really excited for this. Never thrown one of these before. Yeah, just excited to see how it feels, and hopefully it's an effective throwing tool. All right guys, and here it is. This is the Templar. Definitely the heaviest throwing weapon that we have unboxed today, but it is definitely one of the coolest. It's got just not an extremely comfortable feel, but then again, I'm not quite sure on how we're gonna throw it, whether we throw it kind of like a throwing hatchet, or if we're gonna throw it like a knife and try to get to stick on one of the points, or if we're gonna throw it from down here and try to stick on one of these. I don't know yet. We're gonna mess around with it and see how it goes. I imagine we're probably gonna aim for getting it to stick like this, maybe a couple times like this. I feel like the point here is not gonna be enough with all of this. I feel like that'll hit when we try to throw it in like that. Potentially getting this spike to hit maybe, but that will be a lot of weight back here, so it'll have to be going very hard for it to stay in. But yeah, let's try it out. First try. So we ended up sticking right here and right here. Let's give it another one. All right guys, first head hit on there. Seemed pretty well. I just had to go back farther and throw it a lot harder. Got our first back hit. All right guys, well, as you can see, there's definitely quite a lot of power with this Templar. Yeah, so after a handful of throws, I have gotten it to hit here, here, and here. And I can get it pretty consecutively. I was not able to get it here. It's just the weight balance on it. When it's spinning, it immediately goes back to right here. And even if it did stick in, it would have to stick so hard because the head is so heavy, it would want to pull it and have it fall right back out. But yeah, so there you guys go. That is the Templar. All right guys, overall, these cold steel throwing weapons definitely met most of my expectations. Each one of them has their own quirks and their own weights and their own feel, but that's really just all up to preference on these. I would say the Templar I was especially impressed with just because of how it was able to stick a lot easier since it has these 3 points. The rest of these knives overall did pretty well. It just depends on what your throwing technique and throwing style is. This one, I would say 100% was my favorite out of the 3 of these knives, just because of its comfortable feel and a technique that I wasn't as comfortable with. Overall, these are all excellent choices to go to if you're looking just to have fun and start practicing your knife throwing. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. And if you want to see more videos like this, let me know down in the comments. And let me know which one of these was your favorite and what your favorite throwing technique and style is. Catch y'all later.